In today's episode, just give the weekly deal? Okay. You want proof that I'm actually doing my business? If you say so. Can't wait for me to test a lawnmower? Help yourself. So let's get started. Just give the weekly deal? Okay. First time poster here. Sorry for the formatting, I am on mobile. The background. Many moons ago, I worked at a pizza place, part of a national franchise in a diverse community. It was my first job and I enjoyed it, though mostly, it was the satisfaction of having my first job. I worked inside taking orders and making them. After a few days, I was in an odd space. You see, I was new enough to not have a solid handle on everything, but I was there long enough that the manager expected me to be able to do everything already. So when I kept taking too long recording orders, my manager began getting frustrated. I was only supposed to be taking 3 minutes at most, but I often went over 5 minutes over the phone. Remember how I said we were a diverse community? Many customers had issues speaking English, and even though I was bilingual, there were half a dozen languages being spoken here. Some were new to ordering pizza too. Some were just indecisive. As a result, a lot of time was spent speaking slower than usual, explaining everything in detail, or waiting for them to decide. I understood, but my manager was upset at my inefficiency and didn't want to hear it. MC is set up. One day, I got a call and spent 7 minutes explaining everything to a guy who was new to ordering over the phone in general, going over deals, toppings, menu items, prices, etc. He had a lot of questions. He also spoke English as a second language, so sometimes he did not understand what some words meant. Not only that, but he was out of the area, I had to explain that too, so he decided to come pick it up. He thanked me for being understanding, and placed his order. I even got a tip for being patient when he came to pick it up. My manager, meanwhile, was mad. This was messing up her metrics too, so she scolded me for taking so long. I explained the sheer amount of questions he had and barriers, and noted that I wasn't quiet at any moment and kept amending the order. She wouldn't listen and told me it shouldn't take that long. Just give them the deals, that's usually enough. Cue malicious compliance. Just give them the specials? Okay. We were running a special all week, buy one large 5 topping for a steep discount, except for the special pizzas which came with specific toppings ex. The veggie pizza or Philly cheesesteak pizza which have specific toppings, those were exempt to pit, most having 5 toppings or less. It was arbitrary, but I followed orders, and just gave them the deals anyways, even if it meant sidestepping this. So whenever a customer called ordering a special pizza, I would just put it in as a custom pizza that just so happened to have the same toppings as a special, but didn't have the name attached. Therefore, everyone got a steep discount. Some customers were surprised since they were told the deal didn't apply to the specials, but it was an arbitrary rule anyways, so they weren't keen on arguing. Since they were saving money, the indecisive ones decided to just get both sometimes, so calls were quicker. Cheap pizza all around. The manager noticed and got mad at me, arguing that I was just stealing from myself for missing out on the profits. Whatever, I thought. I get paid hourly regardless of your profits. I just told her I was just giving them the deals, but the system wouldn't let me. She knew something was up, but just told me the special pizzas don't apply even if they have 5 toppings or less. The fallout. A few days later, the deal was removed, and I was on thin ice, but we got a nice increase in customers who kept trying to take advantage of the deal. The increase in sales helped offset the large dip in revenue from me liberally providing discounts. Even when I told them that the manager specifically reaffirmed the special pizzas don't apply, they understood that it was too good to last, and just ordered anyways. Also, a customer called who was extremely indecisive and curious about our deals. He also had poor English that made certain requests rather confusing to understand. I spent 5 minutes on the phone until the manager told me to just pass her the phone, and she'd handle it. I did as I was told, and just made pizzas and handled other tasks. I noticed she wouldn't help me, and every time I looked back she would be on the phone. Turned out the guy was on the phone for 20 minutes asking questions, and being indecisive, and in the end ordered nothing. After that, she began being more understanding of me. You want proof that I'm actually doing my business? If you say so. Background: I'm an over-the-road truck driver, and most of the time, it's more convenient for me to do my business on the highway shoulder. I don't have to drive around and around just to park to use the restroom. Just a quick 30-second emergency stop, do my business, either on the side of the road or empty bottles that I'm saving up. Gotta do what you gotta do when you're on the road, then off driving again. I'm sure I'm not the only over-the-road truck driver who have done these, it's very common. Side note, according to FMCSA, by law, we have to carry log books to calculate our driving and on-duty time. This is relevant to the story. On to the story. This happened just a few hours ago somewhere in I-40 WB in New Mexico. I was suddenly in need to relieve myself badly, so as usual, I pulled over to a clean, wide highway shoulder, then I put my logbook to off-duty. Note, this isn't my first time today doing my business. I have a habit of being very meticulous with my driving time. Which means, when I'm not doing anything, even for 30 seconds, I put my time in off-duty. I tried to save as much driving time as possible. Those multiple 30 seconds can add up to a lot to avoid doing 34 hours reset too soon. I looked at the passenger side window and sees multiple cars passing by. Turns out, there's a road where cars drive by on the side of the highway. Doing my business on the highway shoulder, nope. Instead, I did the alternate route, do it in a bottle, seal it, and stow it for trash later. Just as I finished doing my business, I heard a knock on my passenger door. Very weird, because this is at the highway shoulder, where no one should randomly be walking around. I stow away the bottle and go look who it is, and it's a cop. I was thinking, crap, this isn't happening. I switched my logbook to on-duty inspection and go answer the cop. Before I could say anything, the cop asked me to see my logbook. It's part of their job to check whether we comply to the rules or not, so I show it to him. The graph looks like a heart monitor, as I was relieving myself probably 4 or 5 times per day, tiny bladder problem. The cop questioned why I was off duty for 30 seconds to 1 minute every 2 to 3 hours almost every day. Electronic logbook can be backtracked up to 14 days. I explained to him that I have to relieve myself every 2 to 3 hours, give or take. The cop didn't believe me and assumed that my truck had a problem, that's why I have to stop every 2 to 3 hours. I repeated myself about my bladder issue, but the cop still didn't believe me. Instead, he said, "Cop, unless you have proof that you're actually relieving yourself, I'm afraid I have to give you a ticket for false usage of logbook." Cue malicious compliance. I told the cop to wait a moment and went back inside my cabin. I grabbed every single bottle of urine that I've been collecting today, and the previous day. I haven't had the chance to throw it away, put it in a plastic bag, and for extra measure, grabbed the newest one out of the plastic bag. It was still warm. I showed the whole bag to the cop, plus the warm bottle, told him it's the newest one I just did a few seconds ago, and asked if he would like to hold it for further inspection. The cop had the mixed look of disgust and horror. He was literally gagging, so I put back the evidence back inside my truck so he can recover. Then the cop says, "I was expecting doctor's note or something like that. What you showed me was disgusting." Me, but you asked for proof that I was, in fact, relieving myself. I was holding back my laughter so hard that my cheeks started to hurt. Then he gave me back my logbook and told me to have a good day, then drives off. Have a good day indeed. I took an extra 1 minute on the shoulder to laugh until I'm satisfied, then I'm off to drive again. Can't wait for me to test a lawnmower? Help yourself. Grabbed a broken lawnmower from outside someone's house this morning and was reminded of this story. I'm part of a group who keep a community garden and help local people get into gardening too. We let people know we will take any old tools and equipment as we can often repair, restore or just sharpen stuff, and it's as good as new, and we just give it back, or away, in exchange for a small donation. It's not uncommon to see mowers, trimmers etc. outside houses in the summer for the scrap man, and we always snag them. Easily 75% of the electrical stuff we get, maybe even as much as 90%, just needs a fuse or a new plug, and it's good to go. You leave electrical gear in a damp garage all winter and it'll need some attention, but people just chuck it out. So a few years ago I'm working on the garden and hear someone say, "Hey, excuse me. Someone said I can get a mower here?" This is already a bad start. We're British for crying out loud, what's happened to please? And thank you? And sorry? It was a guy who looked like what I can only describe as a big posh sod, and as I started into my normal spiel about welcome to our garden he cut me off and asked where he could get a lawnmower, as someone said he could get a free one here. No problem, maybe he's some weirdo who doesn't want to hear about how the broad beans are doing well this year. We actually had 2 lawnmowers that had been dropped off that weekend, a little hover mower that I had already fixed, rewired plug, and a massive, overworked model with adjustable cutting lengths, automatic compressing grass box, etc. I hadn't touched it because 1, they're massively complicated and 2, they're expensive, so no one gives them to us unless they're completely out of warranty f***ked. I told the guy he could take the small one but the other was probably broken, but he looked it up on his phone and decided he wanted it. He tried it, it started, he took it, done. Glad to see the back of it. An hour later, my phone rings. "Hi, I got your number from your website. I picked up a lawnmower about an hour ago, but it only runs for a few minutes and cuts out. Can I bring it back?" "Ah, sorry mate. I literally just got rid of a knackered one of those, I really don't want another. Sorry, I can't help, click." If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.